Hey guys, Jetpack again, and I'm doing another build in my tiny home series inspired by the Nancy Drew games. This time we landed on Curse of Blackmoor Manor, and if you know anything about me, you know it is my favorite game. So the pressure was on to do this one justice. From this, to this, and this. And in my usual fashion, the exterior went through a few different redesigns, if you will. And I think it might even change one more time, but we'll see. I had a few different ideas, but I eventually landed on a small English cottage with a greenhouse. So of course, Henford-on-Bagley was the place for this build. So I built this with Mrs. Drake in mind, and a lot of my focus was on landscaping. I feel like Mrs. Drake would thrive here. I put a cute little bench under the tree out front and a sundial. I feel like she would have a sundial. I don't know why. And this adorable little bike out front. And she's also the kind of landscaper to want something very neat and tidy, but I also wanted wildflowers and things for this build. I tried to stick with purples and yellows, some of my favorite combinations. And I spent so much time placing rocks for this build. I really felt like Mrs. Drake would have a rock-lined path. Just structure, you know? And you'll also notice that the house is not that much bigger than the greenhouse. I just feel like that's how Mrs. Drake would want it, honestly. And I love adding little sprouts of grass and just darkening the areas with dirt. It just makes it feel real to me. And again, for the backyard, I added rocks to line the flower beds. I think Mrs. Drake would be pretty meticulous about her lawn care, but I still wanted to add grasses here and there because of the rocks. It's hard to get in there, you know? Also this cute little sitting area. We also have a chicken coop, some fruit trees, some plots out back for more gardening. And then I put some ivy on the walls. I feel like that was very Blackmoor Manor-ish. And I could not resist putting a couple gargoyles out back. It just didn't fit the vibe out front, but it wouldn't feel right not having gargoyles in this build. Overall, I love how it came out, and while it is not the creepy, spooky, eerie, all the E words, Blackmoor Manor, it is inspired. It is similar. It gives the vibes of the manor. Also, tell me this planter does not look like the one by the stairs in the Great Hall of Blackmoor Manor. I feel like the people at HerInteractive pulled inspiration from this planter for the game. What do you think? Could you see Mrs. Drake living here? I'm a little concerned about how little living space I gave, but it just did not feel right not to have as much gardening space as humanly possible. Come back later when I decorate the interior of this build. Yeah, I don't know if there's space for a forge in here. I don't know, maybe Mrs. Drake can find a way to make it work. You know what I should have put in the backyard? A telescope, a little nod to Brigitte. Dang it. Check out my other builds for this series. I've done Creature of Capu Cave and Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon so far. Be sure to like and subscribe. Bye!